I'm Wayne Pollock. I'm a thought leadership ghostwriter serving big law and boutique law firm partners and executives at companies that serve the legal industry. I help these partners and these executives build their prominence and their authority one word at a time. Let's talk about avoiding self-promotional case studies and creating this kind of content instead. Case studies make sense as a marketing tool, but they have some significant problems. First, they're self-promotional. They're unabashed sales tools, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they're rarely interesting. Second, and on a related note, they're often presented in a problem, solution, result format, which means they're objective and clinical, so they're rarely, again, engaging. Third, they're narrowly focused often on a specific legal problem and its solution, which means they will lack wider appeal if someone is reading it who didn't have that exact legal problem or didn't need that exact solution. And fourth, and most importantly, they often don't include the strategy and execution that went behind that result and that secured that favorable result. For these reasons, your firm should not be investing significant time into writing case studies and should instead take that time and invest it in writing thought leadership articles about their successful representations. A key difference between case studies and the way that thought leadership articles would discuss a successful representation is how it positions what you and your firm did with respect to the work you did for your client. Case studies are focused on achievements. Here was the problem. Here's what we achieved. We won. Congratulations to us. But thought leadership articles can go behind the scenes and focus on how you and your colleagues overcame certain challenges and difficulties to secure that great result for a client. When you do that, now you're showing off the knowledge and wisdom and insights that you and your colleagues have. That is what resonates with clients and referral sources. They're seeing your thought process. They're seeing your strategy and your execution. They're not just seeing the end result that you secured a win for your client. It's that knowledge and wisdom and those insights that are going to persuade clients and referral sources that based on what you've done for previous clients, you can do that same work and secure that same victory for that client. When you're writing thought leadership about a successful representation in written form, you can distribute it just like you would a case study via social media, by email, publish on your website. But there's one key addition here. You can submit that thought leadership article to a third-party publication, which gives you the opportunity to get it out in front of people who might not already know about your firm, might not be followers of your firm on social media, or receive your firm's email newsletters. So you're exposing your successful representation to a whole new audience compared to case study. Now look, I know there's going to be confidentiality concerns and privilege concerns when you're writing this thought leadership article, but it's the same as a case study. You're going to have to, at a certain point, not give too much detail, which actually works in your favor because you want to avoid ethical issues by not going into too much depth. When you take a step back and not go in so much depth, you're actually going to have your thought leadership article be more applicable to more people and organizations because you're not going so far as to identify who your clients were and the exact nature of all the various factual issues and perhaps legal issues that they were dealing with, which could help someone identify who exactly the client was that's being featured in the thought leadership article. But in addition to a thought leadership article, your thought leadership regarding your successful representations can take multiple forms. They could be short and long-term videos. There can be podcasts. There can be webinars. So now you've got multimedia, not just articles. But on top of that, you can approach thought leadership articles regarding your successful representations from a whole bunch of different angles. You might start with a how we did this format where you walk through 3, 4, or 5 different challenges you encountered when representing a client and how you overcame those challenges to secure a great result. But then you have the opportunity for derivative articles such as best practices or misconceptions or red flags or lessons learned, or even comparing and contrasting various ways to approach a similar problem by a similar organization or person. As you can see, thought leadership articles regarding successful representations of clients are much more versatile than case studies, because you can take your single experience representing a client successfully and then repackage that experience into different types of articles or different types of pieces of content, whether it's videos, podcasts, a webinar, an article, etc. Case studies can be effective tools in communicating a law firm's successful representation of a client, but they can't carry the intellectual weight and persuasive weight that thought leadership regarding that successful representation can. If you want to impress clients and referral sources regarding your successful representations, consider writing thought leadership articles about those representations and not just case studies. If you're interested in learning how to create the kinds of thought leadership that impress clients and referral sources, check out lawfirmeditorialservice.com. We have plenty of videos, blog posts, and podcast episodes that could help you do just that.